Hi guys, and welcome to this bonus bit of content that I've included on the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. On the 10th of September, me and Alexander Westwood, we took part in a charity podcast, 24-hour podcast, similar to what we're doing. This was called Squeefest 4. This is the fourth attempt at doing this. I've been on the show for the last 3 years, and it's in order to raise money for shelter. And it's hosted by Dr Squee. He usually hosts the Dr Squee Show. And it was a fun hour-long segment of this podcast where Ian Shaw, the host, Dr Squee, gave me full run. I got to host my own show. In the past, I've taken Thor's Kin podcast and I've taken You Suck, and we've just done our own thing. And that's pretty much what we did for this. And I've got permission and to share this content with you guys as an audio-only podcast, mainly because they did a really good job. They raised over £600 for shelter, but the Just Given page is still live. So maybe by sharing this, we can raise a few more quid for them, and also you guys get to enjoy this bit of content. We played a game that I've always loved to play. We played it on You Suck an awful lot, and it's called Owl's Game. And the way this game works is we take Rotten Tomatoes scores from movies and we do a higher or lower type game. So if the Rotten Tomatoes ratings for a movie is X amount, we go on to the next one and we ask them whether it's higher or lower. It's a very simple game. And we had a really good time. I want to say thank you to Dr Squee for inviting me and Alex onto the show. We had a really, really good time. I don't want to spoil it though. I'll let you guys enjoy it. There's a few swears in it, but I'll bleep them out. So this will be sort of family friendly. And so yeah, take it away. Enjoy.
Back in a minute.
Right. Okay. So while Squee is seeing his lady friend out, we'll just let you know what's going to go on with this next hour of the show. So I'm Alex Whiteley.
And I'm Alexander Westwood.
And together we kind of look after the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Alex likes to come out with me to festivals and things. So we take cameras and microphones to festivals. And, you know, once Pod Aid is out the way, and I'm not, which is this thing, that's a beautiful thing in the background. Once that's out the way, we will be planning ways to get Alex more involved with the show, because he's been really, really great with what we do. And yeah, so what this next hour is going to be, we have a fun game to play, and we will be playing that. And then afterwards, we want to find out a bit about Squee and how the things have gone on today. I want to interview him. I know he's used to interviewing others, so we're going to flip the script a little bit, and we're going to ask him a few questions about what he does. And trust me, as a guy that likes to interview people, I know how difficult that can be, so we'll see how that goes. But thank you so much to everybody that's donated so far. All you people in the comments, do me a favor, give this stream a little bit of a share before we go into it. If you're watching right now, just share it on your wall, share it with your gran, your family, your mums, your sisters, your brothers. Give it a share. The more eyes we get, the more possibility we have of raising as much money as we can. The link as well is on the bottom there, which is justgiving.com/shelter squee. Have you ever done anything like this before, Alex? Live?
Oh, not quite like this. Not wholly, sort of live. I mean, it's quite fun, isn't it? Like, live,
It's nice. It's good. It's good. It's good when you got control of the studio. But Squee's left it very much not in my hands at the moment, so I can't bring up any comments or anything. But I'll tell you what. Let's see if we can get some comments in for Squee before he gets back. If you're watching, say hello. Let us know you're watching. We are going to have a bit of fun. We may be the Shrewsbury Biscuit, which is it's a local podcast. The way I describe it is, I think I'm right in saying, Al, that it's a bit like the one show for Shrewsbury.
Yeah, it's the Shropshire one show almost, pretty much. It's funny when you think about it, because we really do encompass a whole wide range of things.
I should have worn my Shrewsbury Biscuit t-shirt. I wore it yesterday for a beer festival, but we couldn't share any of the press stuff until today because of the embargo that's put on, obviously because of what's going on with the Queen, unfortunately, and what's going on. We weren't allowed to share anything on social media of the things that we were doing, so I've been sharing that today. But yeah, yesterday I went to a beer festival in a church. It was very, very fun. I went to Camera Shrewsbury
in a
beer
church,
in St Mary's. Yeah, so it was a Shrewsbury Camera Beer Festival, and I've lost it now. It's in the living room, but I got given a gold band, which meant I could drink exactly what I wanted for free.
You know, I do feel for the people who've tuned in for Dr Squee here, because anyone coming on and they just saw us two, they would have thought,
they'd be like, hold on, why is it? I shouldn't have put that in the background. I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. That's really crass.
No, actually, while I was gone, the viewing ship went up. They were like, thank God. Jesus, 24 hours of that.
Well, I'm recording the audio for this, and I hope you don't mind. I was wondering if we could get your permission to share this on the Shrewsbury Biscuit as well as where you wanted to share it, and we could drum up some donations from the Shrewsbury folk if we can. What do you reckon?
Please do. I mean, Willow's obviously very much in favour.
Oh, so that's quite an enthusiastic bark. That was clearly we're barking up the right tree.
Yeah.
Squee, do you have the ability to be able to share screen on this studio?
Share
the screen. Can we share the screen on? I don't seem to have the ability to do it. I don't know why.
You should do now. So 1 second. What are
Oh, because we're going to play Al's game. I've made a very special edition of Al's game for you. And what I'll do is I'll explain while Squee's sorting out, Dr. Squee sorting this out, I will explain the game to you. So it's a bit like higher or lower, but for Rotten Tomato scores. So we'll start off with, oh yes, I've got the ability now. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. I don't think I actually changed anything. I think you might have just found the button. I don't know.
Maybe. Do you know what? It doesn't take much. Alex has been to festivals with me. He knows it doesn't take much to stump me, right? I'm like, why is this thing not working? And Alex will be like, the cover's still on it, Alex, or something. You know, something stupid. All right. Sipping my tea because it's warm. So Al's game, high or low with Rotten Tomato scores. So we'll start off with one Rotten Tomato scores, which you guys will try and guess, and then we'll guess which one is, whether it's higher or lower. And you'll give me your answers, and I'll score them, and we'll see who the winner is at the end. How's that sound?
That sounds like fun.
Yes, it really is. Okay. Let me just bring this up. Technology and things technology and things. Right, here we go. I haven't got an intro for it because
let's bring this up.
Because I lost all my Al's game stuff. Are you guys seeing that on the screen?
Not yet.
No.
What? Okay, I don't know why that's happening. Technology dash share. It's not working for me for some reason. Oh, this is going to be fun. We'll try and do it in an audio way. Okay, I'll try and explain to you. So we'll start off with. So
you click on share and share. Have you got the option for share screen?
Yeah. So share. It says share screen, and then
share screen.
Then I click on screen one.
Chance of either the entire screen, window, or a Chrome tab.
Let's try the window. Let's see what happens.
If I click share screen, I've got the option of slides, and then file.
Hey, there we go. Look at that.
I just then had to add it to the screen.
There we go.
That was the ingredient we were missing.
We'll go with 100% screen mode. So this is Al's game. And what we're going to be doing today is Star Trek versus Wars. So I'm going to get you guys to see which one does better out of this array of Star Trek movies and series. And obviously the Star Wars series are of a higher quality than the Star Trek stuff of the past, because they've only just... I'm talking because they didn't really make Star Wars series up until recently. So when it comes to the budgets and things that people have been allowed, it's been very, it's different, isn't it? So we're going to start off.
If you start dissing the Star Trek,
I love Star Trek. Star Trek is my jam. There is, in fact, I think there's an episode of Star Trek which I think is one of the greatest moments of TV history. And it's where Data has to go to court to prove that he is not property. Of all of all the Klingon stuff, of all the Borg, of all the stuff that's gone on, I think that's one of the most important episodes of anything ever to exist. I think it's fantastic. So,
great, just little courtroom drama.
Yes. Right, let's hide that. Right, here we go then. So, you guys, the first one is Star Trek The Next Generation. On Rotten Tomatoes, by the way, if I see you clicking on anything, you'll get shamed forever. So, no cheating, guys. And also in the comments, get in the comments with your highs or your lows. What we'll do, though, is as a percentage, I'll let you guys try and guess what do you reckon Rotten Tomatoes gave, on the whole, Star Trek The Next Generation. I'll start with Alex. Are you much of a Trekkie? Have you watched much?
Not much, if I'm honest. Not much. I go towards wars more than Trek.
Oh, so this would be interesting then, because it's the other way around with Squee.
Well, from what I've seen, maybe 75%.
75%.
Plucking a number out of thin air there, but we'll see.
Now, if you get it within 5, I'm going to give you an extra point, so it is worth it. So, Dr. Squee.
Is it? It's out of 100%.
Out of 100%. I'm Rotten Tomatoes, yes.
Okay. I'm going to say, because the thing with Next Generation is the first series especially had some real turkeys in it. There were some tough watches in that first series, and it took them a while to find their stride. I think Next Generation is remembered for its best episodes, with which it was on fire, but there were some turkeys. So I'm going to say...
Evil slime.
That borne in mind, I'm going to go 65.
65, Dr. Squee says. Let's see if anybody has got within 5% of this. And I'll give the comments any time. By the way, I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to go into it. It got 92% on the as an average on the tomato meter there. And 89% audience score, which kind of balances out quite a bit. So what we're going to do now is going to go into the next one, and we're going to say higher or lower.
I'm a fan. I think that's a little too high. There were some episodes which do not.
You think about that way, but then you've also got to think of nostalgia. Nostalgia always obviously swings things higher, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. I think that's what you find. It's like the good episodes are so good, people just forget the pre-hit ones.
Right. Okay.
But they are there.
Let's go to the next one then, and that is going to be Star Wars: A New Hope. Of course, we'll start at the beginning for Star Wars. 92%. On the whole, Star Wars fans can be quite fickle, but this is where it all began. Okay, so where would you reckon they would have voted for them on the tomato meter? Higher or lower than 92%?
Straight off the bat, I'm going higher. I think New Hope is so highly regarded. Like, it's the thing which all Star Wars fans, or it seems like a lot of Star Wars fans complain that everything else is not as good as is that original trilogy, so I think it's going to go higher. I'm
going to stick about 90%, so lower.
Lower, okay. Alex is going to go lower.
Maybe I'm just sort of pessimistic. I don't know. I just don't think. When you consider, all the edits that have been made over time and so on and so forth. I don't know. People have different opinions.
Let's have a look.
The additions, that's a good point.
In the comments as well, I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can comment and guess on this, by the way. We're not going to shame you if you're wrong. It's fine. And it got 93%. It got higher. So that's 1 for Dr. Squee.
We won't shame you. We'll let the...
Very close, though. Very close. And the audience score, again, very close. They kind of agree there.
As your show, I do have to let you win.
This is not something that I normally do on the Shrewsbury Biscuit, by the way. We should do more stuff like this on the Shrewsbury Biscuit, I think. All right, moving on. We have the 2009 reboot Star Trek. Chris Pine.
I mean... yeah, you first, mate.
Dr. Squee, I'll let you go first, because I think you might be able to help Alex a little bit here, maybe.
Unless... Well, I am going to go low. I think it was very highly regarded because it was, for me, it was kind of the summation of every Trek we've had before. It kind of stood on the shoulders of giants. It brought a lot of stuff into one film. But to say it's as beloved as A New Hope, even though I don't know which I'd pick, I like both of them, but I think generally A New Hope's going to be high regarded.
Okay. Do you like
It's going to be up there, though.
Alex, do you like lens flare?
What was that?
Yeah, there was the lens flare.
Lot.
What was the previous score?
93%. Again, get in the comments if you know. Don't cheat. I mean, I don't want any like cheated answers in there. But if you have a good idea, get in the comments. Let us know.
I'm gonna go either. I think it'll be about the same. 93, 94, 95, something like that. I seem to remember it being very, very highly regarded. The cast was good.
Of course, yeah.
Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto. I think it was well regarded. I'm gonna go with 93%. No, 93%. I'm gonna stick. A 93%.
You can't go same. You gotta go lower. I mean, that's
higher.
You're gonna go higher. Okay. I mean, you can.
Not in this game.
You can stay the same, but your chances are very low of getting that right. So Dr. Squee saying low, and Alex is saying high. They're kind of flipping the script on each other. Okay, let's have a look, shall we? It is. Nope. Oh, I've just ruined the last one, haven't I? 94%. I should have left that one. 94%. Okay, so that is higher. So correct for Alex. Now, let's see if you guys were quick enough to see what I just did there. It's this mouse. Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
Star Wars Force Awakens. Did you see what game?
Oh, I got.
You did?
That was no. I looked away. Let's.
Yeah, I missed it.
Okay, good.
Higher or lower? I go lower.
Oh yeah, surely it's got to be lower.
It's got to be lower than 94%.
90, 92, maybe. I don't know.
I actually did quite like the Force Awakens. But
I thought it was great.
People said it was too derivative of the original.
I thought it was fantastic, but most critics thought it derivative, and I can sort of see why it might go both ways. I think about 90%.
What I think is great about this movie is people have been so critical about it, but it's the absolute minority that are, because it's still one of the highest grossing movies of all time. So like, even though people complained about it, people still went to watch it in the droves. So it did really well, and I thought it was really good. I liked it. Hopefully my mouse doesn't double click. It does it sometimes on the radio and like skips songs and stuff. So let's try that again. 93% lower. Yeah. Funny enough, you got that right, both of you. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Again, these scores are very high. We've had 92, 93, 94, 93. Audience score.
Crop up. I imagine that's lower, probably.
Okay, and gentle click Star Trek Voyager as a series. This is one of I'd say one of Star Trek's probably most talked about series because of the difference in opinion. Would you agree, Dr. Squee?
I don't know. I mean, I think it was. I mean, to me, they'd done a lot of Star Trek back to back at this stage, and I think it was starting to be. There were so many episodes where you go, "Oh yeah, this like this episode of Next Generation, this like this episode of Deep Space Nine, this like this episode," and sometimes you'd have the same episode basically retold between Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager.
I see.
It had some fun moments, but I think it's probably going to be lower. Mind you, maybe 7 and 9. People's heartbeats are going faster, so it did better. But I'm going to say lower.
Lower. Lower. Yeah, it's got to be lower. 93%.
Lower than.
What I'll say about Star Trek Voyager is that I see a lot of gatekeeping comments about Star Trek Voyager. And what I mean by that is a lot of people will say, "Oh, if you like Star Trek Voyager, you're not a true Star Trek fan." I've seen comments like that, and they really rile me. I hate them so much because enjoy Star Trek. Well, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it, So
yeah, I still love it. Yeah.
Okay, 93% higher or lower. It is
lower.
76%. And again, the audience score very close there. Look at that. They all kind of agree. Everybody's kind of went, yeah, I kind of agree with that. Yeah. It's quite high, I think, actually, for that, considering the noise.
I'm quite pleased it scored so highly. I think it
That's
got
fresh.
a lot of guff with it. It was the third series in a row.
Yeah.
Can I say it got a bit of crap?
Certified fresh. Okay, next one is Obi-Wan Kenobi, just recently released, but also lots of noise about this TV show. Did you both watch it? Enjoy it?
Yes, brilliant I think it would have been better as a movie, admittedly, but
Okay.
you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, the way they landed it, and it's very difficult for me. There's sometimes I get annoyed when they retcon something, when they put something before something else, and it sort of changed the nature of the original. I think they managed to do that without doing that. Like, so they managed to put something earlier, put the sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen it. But when Anakin says it's like, I already killed, like, you didn't kill Anakin, I did. And it just fits so perfectly.
That
in
was
the lore.
poetic.
That was just such a beautiful moment to end it on. So I'm going to say higher. I think it was brilliant.
Higher.
It's very well received.
100% higher.
Higher.
Yeah.
Higher.
Well, 100% higher. It's going to be 190.
So, yeah, you got to be careful. We get quite literal on this show. It's 100% higher. Before we go into the answer, guys, I want to remind you, you can still donate, which go to the www.justgiving.com/Shelter Squee. Squee spelled Squee. And the reason I'm spelling that is because I'm going to release this on the Shrewsbury Biscuit too. So if you're listening to this, justgiving.com/Shelter Squee. Right.
Yeah, and the giving link is open. It just never closes on Just Giving, so you can give it at any point when you're hearing this.
Yes, so we'll share this and please donate. And what we'll do is after this, Squee, we'll get you to talk about the charity as well. Okay, so Obi-Wan, 76% higher or lower. It is gentle. It is 82%, which is higher.
That tracks, I think.
I mean, I honestly thought it was going to be a bit higher because it was generally really well. I'm surprised by the audience.
I was going to say a bit of a disconnect there between the.
I expected that. I expected that because
I'm going to throw in the fact that there are like these hate campaigns where people purposely go on before it's even released to downgrade it, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happened because some of the Star Wars fans are, the ones who call themselves fans have been particularly bitter.
Especially if somebody's not white. You know, I'm going to call that out straight away. You know, especially as soon as
you're white on the money there, Alex.
Yeah. As soon as John Boyega took his helmet off in that first trailer for Force Awakens, the outrage was disgusting. So yeah.
I mean, Jesus, you almost feel like these people would say that. But Samuel L. Jackson's, he's one of the good ones. You'd be worried that's the kind of thinking that they're going with.
Picard is up next. I loved Picard. That show made me cry more than a TV show has made me cry in a long time. We just sat and watched Good Will Hunting.
You recommended it to me. I still haven't seen it, but you recommended it. So is it of quality, I would assume?
It's lots of callbacks, lots of fan service, but the writing on it is fantastic too. And, you know, Patrick Stewart is very limited with his age and his abilities to move, but he still owns the screen every time he's on there. He is still Picard, and he still has authority, and I think it's fantastic. Do you like it, Dr. Squee? Enjoy Picard?
Well, what I'd say is I absolutely adored the second series. The first series, for me, they didn't nail it. I feel like I know it's like so many years later, but they just gave nothing to make it feel like Star Trek for me. Whereas the second series, they gave so many little Star Trek nods. They kind of, because it was a time travel caper, the second series, they did loads of nods to the fourth film, The Voyage Home. And I love those kind of parallels they did. And like you were saying, like Patrick Stewart isn't able to do so many action scenes, but they did so many emotional scenes in that. There was one where he was confronting his past very, very heavily in one episode called Monster. And that was one of my favorite hours of TV. It was just it was acting porn, basically. It was wonderful. So, yeah, I really love the second series. I'm so hopeful for the third. They've just released the trailer on Star Trek Day and it looks great.
Jonathan
remind me of the last number again.
The last number was 82%. 82%. And we're going to say higher or lower with Picard. Bearing in mind it's across the whole of the franchise, so that's first and second season.
I'm going to say I don't agree with it, but I think it's going to be lower.
Okay.
I'm based off what you've both said. Bearing in mind, I haven't seen the series. It pays homage to previous things. The first season not being so well received, maybe. I'm going to go higher if the second season was well received.
Okay. Well, let's find out. Again, in the comments. I'm not seeing any comments yet. Are you guys fingers stuck? Can you not text? I mean, what's going on here? Get in the comments, guys. I'd love to see it. Right, Picard. Here we go. Gentle click. I'm trying to be careful with my mouse because this double click. 86%, so higher, but only just.
I'll take it. I'm pleased. Oh, that audience score of 40.
The audience score. I was about to say, look at that audience score.
Yeah,
Crikey.
yeah. And I don't know why. I feel like, I don't know if this is fair to say, and also, to be fair, I don't care. But I feel like some geeks, nerds, like myself, I consider myself a geek and a nerd, they struggle with the idea that people age. They're like, oh my God, why can't Patrick Stewart be young again still? Why has he got to be old? People genuinely struggle with this. And I'm like,
I mean, yeah, as I say, for me, it's just in their second series, they had him old, but they had him doing a lot still, and it just felt a more cohesive story.
Yeah.
And they made the little panels look like Star Trek panels, and it was still him at a later stage of his life, but it felt more like the same character for me. But that might just be me.
Yeah. I struggled with Discovery in a way that I was like, why is all this technology like super cool? And like in Next Generation, it's all beep beep beep. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like, they shouldn't have made it so high tech, because all like hologram screens and all this sort of stuff. And I'm kind of like, we didn't. Yeah.
You see, I could get past that because you've just got to make it look as good as the time allows you to. I can sort of understand that, but it was more kind of the very melodramatic. The second, oh my God, like Burnham could stub a toe and she'd have a 5-minute monologue about how heartbroken she is. It just came a bit too much sometimes.
Next, we've got The Mandalorian. They just released a trailer for the next season, which I can't wait to go and have. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I've just seen I saw the link for it and I was like, oh, I'm just about to go on a podcast, so I can't wait to see that. But
as the trailer goes, I think it's fantastic.
It's just visually stunning. I mean, I do love The Mandalorian. I think it's fantastic. I like a good Western, and that's pretty much what The Mandalorian is. It's a space Western. Wow, wow, wow.
I think this was so well done, and it's kind of weird because The Mandalorian, he never takes his helmet off, as was the feeling certainly with Boba Fett. But Boba Fett, when they did his show, it's like helmet straight off every 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
But it sort of did Boba Fett better than Boba Fett did.
Well, Boba Fett isn't technically. I mean, I know he's a man of Mandalorian blood because he's a clone, but he's not of the Mandalorian
creed.
Yeah, he's just got armor, hasn't he?
It's like from the film, the one thing people loved is like he was a mysterious figure. Like that seemed to be just some people enjoyed it. I'm not saying there's any law reason why he has to have the helmet on.
Yeah.
But given that everyone enjoyed like that aspect of it, it seemed weird to then just have him whipping off all the time. And I meant the helmet. And I meant that helmet. Oh, yeah, it's a minefield.
What was during the book of Boba Fett? What was your spoilers, by the way, if you've not seen it? When the Mandalorian comes through that brushed door, did you squeal in any way?
The Mandalorian season 2.5 when you're talking about this book of Boba Fett.
2.5. I love that.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. Where just the weirdest pivot ever, where they just had episodes of Boba Fett when it was just the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was hilarious. I really did.
Yeah, I loved it. I don't care. Like I don't care where I get my good TV. Wherever you want to put it into the world, it's fine.
Right, 86%. Are we going to go higher or lower? This is quite difficult.
Higher, without a doubt, higher.
Alex is saying higher.
This was again. It seems so well received, and Grogu, Baby Yoda, just was such a bloody lightning rod. It was just the most popular thing around.
94, 95%.
You got to remember as well, people slammed this show because of the CGI with Luke Skywalker on more than one occasion.
But then it got better. It got better. The CGI got vastly better, and the storylines were fantastic. And obviously, as you said, Grogu was so well received. The story as a story as well, it holds up. It does hold up. It definitely holds up.
Do you guys know the story of why the Luke Skywalker, the de-aging looks so much better in the second time he appears than the first?
Yes.
Because, I'll tell the story for anyone listening who doesn't. But basically, a guy watched it and goes, that looks so janky. this is how you should have done it. And he puts this thing on YouTube and they go, brilliant, you've got a job.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that's where you're going with
And
that.
he made it look so much better. And it's so noticeable. That first episode is like, I mean, it's kind of cool having him back, but that looks janky as hell. And then he just looks perfect the next time.
I love that. Weirdly, it's a strange pull, but I think it was Stereophonics. They lost their drummer, and they were desperately looking for a drummer. And one of their kit guys didn't think anyone was watching, and he was just letting rip on the drums by himself. Somebody heard it, and were like, "Yo, we didn't know you could play the drums." Now he became a drummer for the Stereophonics. Great, I love things like that. Right, Mandalorian. Yeah. We're going to go higher on 86. In the comments, I'm going to give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's 93% and much higher. Again, audience score there, very much agreeing with that score.
It's very much the same, that is.
Yeah. The next spot we're going to go to is Star Trek: The Motion Picture. So Squeeze eyebrows go right up there, because this again is okay. So I've got a really good friend called Eric Pfluger. If you watch Hollywood Babylon, you'll know who Eric Pfluger is. He's the artist. His art is the cover of many things that go on in Hollywood Babylon. Good friend of mine. And we did a show called Yelling at Clouds, and he made me watch this movie more than once so he could just talk about the art, because there's a lot of art, that concept art, that is genuinely mind-blowing and features in this film. So it didn't get received very well, but as an art concept, it's actually very well received in a weird way.
Oh, yeah, there are a couple of scenes where there's some really beautiful, majestic shots. What they wanted to do, because it was the first Star Trek film and because Star Wars had happened, they wanted to make it look visually stunning. Some lovely shots, but like they just go on for too long. You get like this 5 minutes of the shuttle going to the Enterprise, and it's filmed from every angle you could imagine. Like they're doing it from underneath, on top, on the side, wherever you want, and it goes on for too long. I'm gonna say lower, definitely.
Lower.
Yeah, I think it has to be lower than the Mandalorian. I think it has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where necessarily, but I will go with lower.
I need to tick your guys' questions for last time. So lower.
The number?
Sorry?
Squee, are you predicting a number?
Do I want to predict a number?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go. I think, yeah, as I say, there are some people who really like the art, so I'm going to say 84.
84. I'm going to write this down. 84.
I'm going to go lower than that based off the fact that I've never seen it, and I believe that I have a feeling it's going to be 70, 75. 79. I think 79 is a nice number, actually, given the year date. I could see that.
Alexander Westwood, you're making me make my board a mess here. 79%. 73, 75, 79, yeah. Okay, right. And we're going to go with 52%. A lot lower. A lot lower.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
That's rotten.
Yeah.
Now, why might that be? Because, again, I've not seen this.
It's...
Well, again, there's some beautiful moments, and there is a wonderful story at the heart of it. So the idea is there's a probe which is sending out signals, which is kind of, now I'm saying it sounds very similar to to a later movie, but you find out that this probe is actually the Voyager shuttle that the
Voyager 7?
satellite that we sent out years ago, but it's become its own sentient being called Vija, which was Voyager bastardized. It's kind of one of those things where it was just, there was a lot of good things in it, but it just didn't gel quite.
There's a few weird scenes as well. There's the Doctor is he's off ship and they grab him, and he's like at some 70s, I wouldn't say an orgy, but he's at like a 70s like swingers party type thing, and they bring him in and he's wearing that tight 70s like and he's like, yo man, I was having the time of my life. Just
chest hair, medallion.
Yeah, very tight clothes, and you're like, wow, this is very 70s, this movie. There's a lot of hidden sexual energy in this thing. The thing that the
You're
ship
talking about the Zoom call now.
the giant vagina that the ship has to fly through. That's what I'm talking about. Seriously, there is an episode. It's still on USUK, US UK. Yelling at clouds, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one we did on Star Trek, the motion picture. Eric is fantastic. Explain that. Go and check that out. It was really good. Right, 52%. We're going to go on to our next one. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. 52%. This is by far, I'd say, one of the most hated Star Wars properties ever made by a lot of people, not by me. I actually think it's a wonderfully beautiful movie. I think it's so stunning. I think
it's very beautiful. The cinematography is second to none. However, the content of it, good God. It is the Star Wars equivalent of rolling a turd in glitter, as far as I'm concerned. It might look pretty, but it ain't.
It's hard because I think what people did with the last trilogy is they go, oh my God, we've got 2 films to wrap it all up. Where's this going to go? And then when you got something that's a real slow burn like The Last Jedi, you kind of like, well, what? You've given us more questions and answers. And
I think he absolutely decimated it, if I'm honest.
I loved it. I thought it was really good. I like the casino scene. The casino scene is very much hated. People hated it, but I was like, it's a failed plan.
The trip to Canto Bight was certainly interesting. I think it was reminiscent of the initial sort of Smuggler's Cove den. Yeah, Cantina, thank you. The words won't come to mind. And I think it was sort of a version of that, which was, again, valid in its own way. I just don't think that for all the parts, for as nice as it looked, I just do not think the story was there.
I think for me, the one thing which I kind of found a bit jarring was they used a lot of modern slang. The reason why I think those original films stand up is like there's a sort of timeless language. They don't use any slang or anything. Whereas at one stage they go, I think he's tooling you, sir. So in a galaxy far, far away, they've got the word tooling. There was a few moments like that, which, bizarrely enough, that was the bit which really took me out. I didn't mind it. I thought it was all right.
Oh, just me then, crikey. Oh, well,
Alex really likes it. You don't. I'm in the middle.
I can't see this being higher than 40%, but it's so divisive that I think, you know what, actually I'm gonna make a prediction here. I suspect it will be in the 80s, 90s, but I think the audience score will be 30s, 40s, where it should well be.
So you're going to go higher than 52?
It was so well received by critics that everyone flocked to watch it. Look, we've got a comment there. 72%.
Fred says 72%. It's got to sit in the middle there.
That's Fred Rawlins, who did the all the videos which I've been playing throughout the day.
You're very talented, Fred. As a video editor myself, you do a great job. Well done, man. Well done.
I will. Yeah, I think it has to be higher than 52%, sadly, but I don't believe it deserves to be. I think the audience score and I think the actual critics score is going to be very different.
Dr. Squee, do you concur?
I'm going to say higher. Alex, excuse me. I'm going to go higher, and I'm going to go. For me, I'm going to guess 60%.
See, we've mentioned The Last Jedi, and you're already yawning. I mean, that's.
He's nearly 8 hours into a 24-hour part. He's a lot. I'll be doing this in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 9.5 hours in. Yeah, the yawn might happen.
I think you're mad starting it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, though. I'm like, oh my God, what did you do with the rest of your day? We'll get into that in a sec, though. We'll get into it.
There's a method to that madness, but yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, the answer is, are you ready, Fred? Are you ready? Here we go. It's 91%.
Oh, God.
91%.
Score, I feel I called that. That sounds about right to me, the audience score.
91% and 42% audience score. It's one of the most divisive topics amongst Star Wars. I mean, like, do you think it's too extreme for me to say I hate Star Wars fans? Do you think that's a really extreme thing to say? Not on the whole, mostly. I'm gonna say there are a few that I like. Mostly, they just seem to be such a horrible fan base. But then again, there are a few people that I love. So
I'm still a believer that the majority are good, just the other ones are louder. They're the ones who will not let one thing go past without commenting on it with vile comments. Whereas other people, it's like, hey, I don't like it, but I don't feel the need to comment on everyone sharing it.
In some strange ways, it feels very, very surreal to be having this sort of conversation because, you'd think that most people are just let it go if they don't like it. I despise this movie, but it doesn't make me hate the series. I can't not appreciate the nice bits of it, or I'm never going to watch The Mandalorian again. I will never understand it. It seems so surreal to me that there are people out there who just their sole existence is to hate on a franchise.
Fred says, yes, the fan base is very divisive, and I think that's what we're getting at. There are a few people out there that like to ruin everything for everybody, regardless of what the franchise is. We already talked about when, as soon as John Boyega took his helmet off, people went absolute berserk because they're like, stormtroopers aren't black. I'm like, what? This is a galaxy far, far away. In what place? It was just an insane reaction.
I would just add to that. I mean, again, I think they're sort of their own enemy, because you just got to live in that hate so much that you've got to comment on everything.
Yeah.
You've got to say how much you hate it in every form available. Can you imagine dictating that much of your life to do it, or dedicating that much of your life to doing that? It's just, that's quite
very sad.
It's almost like the crime is its own punishment in a way.
Yeah. We got one more. Is that a tiebreaker? Hold on a second. What's going on here?
I'll call it a draw if we want to do this as tiebreaker.
Let me see how many we've got. Okay, I'm gonna toss up the scores. I thought I'd put 11 in here. I put 10. Right. Okay. Let me count these up while you guys chat amongst yourselves. How do you think you did, Alex and Dr Squee?
That's a very good question. I don't know too much Star Trek, which might take people by surprise, really, because I am a general sort of I am quite geeky, but Star Trek's just never really captured me.
I mean, I've always liked both, but I've always loved Star Trek, and I've liked Star Wars just generally. Like the new Star Wars TV shows, I think probably more so. I really love. But yeah, I think just generally people seem to fall one way or the other as their favorite. I think though we've been pretty much even with this. I think we've about got the same.
I'd say so. Yeah, I think your Star Trek knowledge probably trumps mine for sure.
Okay, so. And there's no way to do this. You can't do it in second place. The winner with 8 is Mr. Alexander Westwood. And Dr. Squee got 7. So there's 1 point in it. So that's how close it was.
Yeah, I knew it was close.
Commiseration.
Should we do the tiebreaker anyway? And just see how close we can get, just for fun? So the tiebreaker, what I want you to do is I want you to... now, this is going to be hard for you, Alex. I want you to try and guess... to the nearest 5, the percentage of Star Trek Nemesis. What did that get on Rotten Tomatoes? Star Trek Nemesis, starring Tom Hardy, a very young Tom Hardy. I like this film, by the way. I watched it very recently. I was like, do you know what? It holds up quite well. I really liked it.
By the way you're talking about it here, is this the most hated Star Trek film? Is this
No, I just grabbed one randomly off Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, you just got to guess between the nearest 5%.
I would say by and large it is not the most highly regarded. Basically, the director they got in knew nothing about Star Trek, and he made decisions which don't sort of make a lot of sense to Star Trek in a lot of areas. Yeah, it's not the best received. I don't mind it, but there are some bits where it's like, yeah, you could tell that he didn't really know the show as well.
The dialogue between Hardy and Patrick Stewart is phenomenal because, spoilers, if you haven't seen this 20-year-old something movie, I don't know, but Tom Hardy is a clone of Picard. So he's very much getting the same mindset, but like brought up in a really harsh environment. So he's got like the similar characteristics of Jean-Luc Picard, but he's a hateful son of a bitch. Like, so they're having this dialogue, and they're like, "Why were you?" He was like, "Why were you created to be like me?" And he's like, "Don't be so vain." You know, they're having this back and two, and it's so Tom Hardy. It's unbelievable, and yet he wasn't even really known yet. It's really good.
Yeah, apparently he because he thought this was going to be his big break, and it didn't turn out to be. He got suicidal after this. It was that kind of devastating how badly it was received versus what his expectations were. Yeah, and look at him now.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Blimey.
He went into music, didn't he? Have you heard some of his music? He can rap, man.
No.
He can rap. Type in Tom Hardy music, and some of his early tapes are online. You can find them. It's actually really not that bad at all. Right, okay, so you were saying, what did you say, Dr. Squee? As a percentage?
I didn't yet. I'm going to go with 50% on the button.
50% on the button. Oh.
I'm going to go 40%.
40%. Fred, have you got something? Are you still in the chat? What do you think?
Yeah, Fred.
40%. 5, 4.
Just from the way you talked about it,
3,
I think
2. 38%. So, and that, well, it would have been an extra point there for Alex, but yeah, well done.
49%. That was as an audience score, which is quite close to your 50.
Great film.
If we were doing that, that would have been great.
Well, do you know what? In this game, there are no winners. You know, I totted all this up for no reason because we had fun, right? We enjoyed this. So I'm going to put the screen back to normal. There we go. Hey, look, back on the big screen. Now, what I wanted to do, if you don't mind, Dr. Squee, is I wanted to, as we're going to release this on the Shrewsbury Biscuit, and as you've been expending a lot of energy interviewing people today, I thought we'd ask you a few questions about today and what's been going. If you don't mind, we're going to interview you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. What I want to know is, for our listeners in Shrewsbury and part of the Shrewsbury Biscuit, what is Dr. Squee? Where did it come from, and why Dr. Squee?
Okay, this is a very silly story which takes part in parts. So to begin with, Squee wasn't just a nickname which I was given. So one night there was a rock club or rock night at a pub which I used to go to in Eastleigh, which is just down the road from Southampton. And we used to go there. It was a Monday night rock club. And all my mates would go there every week. I went in there once, and someone goes, "Oh, hey, Squee," and I'm going, "Sorry, what?" They go, "Oh, hey, Squee, how you doing?" It's like, "Why are you calling me that?" "Oh, like Thingy told me." And so I go to Thingy, and they go, "Oh yeah, it was Jess's idea." I go, "Okay," and people just started calling me Squee, and I just didn't know why. Went up to my friend Jess, and I go, "Squee?" She goes, "Oh, isn't it obvious?" I go, "Well, not particularly. My name's Ian in the real world, if you like, and it's Ian Squee and Squee." Apparently, that's the whole bit. But before I knew it, people who'd known me for many years were just calling me Squee, which was very unusual. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
chat. Anyway. And then when I went to do my first podcast, which was, when I went to do Gallifrey Stands, which was my Doctor Who podcast, which I did for 300 episodes, I was working as a counsellor at the time, and I didn't want my clients to be able to find me. So I thought, I could use my nickname Squee and Dr. Squee because it's a Doctor Who podcast. That sounds pretty good. And it just kind of stuck from there. And when I was launching my interview show, I was going, let's call it the Dr. Squee Show.
So who is your favourite doctor?
Well, it was always growing up Peter Davison because, part of it is that thing of like he was the Doctor when I was growing up, and I was obsessed with the Five Doctors, which was this adventure one.
That was a fantastic episode.
I love it. It's one of my favourites still to this day. But when the new series came out and Matt Smith took over, I just think he's amazing. He just had so much energy in the role. He sort of brought to the role what I'd always seen Doctor Who as, which it wasn't always, because Doctor Who's been so many things over the years. This is what I say to people who complain about it. It's like, if you don't like what it is now, wait a minute, it'll be what you want in another regeneration when another showrunner's doing it. At the moment, I've got to be honest with you, I think Jodie Whittaker's a great actor, but I don't like the script she's been given. I don't like this particular era. Just to my taste, I don't like it. But I'm not going to complain about it and say it shouldn't be Doctor Who.
Don't you worry, Russell. He's on his way home
I was
shortly.
going to say, I've got Cuddy coming up with Russell T. So, yeah, great. That looks amazing. I can't wait. But that's
Yes,
just
we've
more
got
than my taste.
David inbound with Catherine Tate returning. We've got a whole host of things to look forward to.
And a final performance by
Shooty
Cribbins.
Power. Yes, final performance of Bernard Cribbins. Yes,
But no, for me, it was during that era when, like, the way I've always seen Doctor Who is, as a kid who was picked on and bullied at school, it was like Doctor Who was your friend. He was the guy who, as long as you were at least trying to be on the side of right, you didn't even have to completely be right. You just had to try and be on the side of right, and you'd be accepted by him, and everything was cool. Didn't matter how nerdy you are or anything else. He just accepted people who were good of heart, if you like.
Yeah.
And Matt Smith just exemplified that. And it was him and Rory and Amy, and they were kind of just mates hanging about, going in the TARDIS. It just seemed like a really kind of fun time in the show.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was amazing. He just typified what I'd always seen Doctor Who as, which, again, there isn't a right or wrong answer to that. That's just what I take from it.
I personally think Peter Capaldi was an exemplar. Just an immense performance. As such a fantastic, kind, caring soul, I think he was an amazing steward of the show. And much like Matt, I think his performances were top. Even though sometimes the scripts weren't all there, there wasn't a single time he didn't deliver an absolute showcase, a masterpiece. Every single time he picked up a script or the camera started rolling. It was, I think we've been truly spoiled with some of the Doctors, upon returning to the show.
Oh God, yeah, and I think also with what was wonderful about Capaldi is the same thing with David Tennant. They were fans of the show growing up, and you could just tell how much they enjoyed it. Like Capaldi, especially, he was. I believe David Tennant would sign autographs for people and stuff, but it was like Capaldi would go out looking for fans almost. Like during breaks in the show, he'd come out and go to where the fans were to sign stuff. Every break he got, he would do this, and he met. You'd see photos with him with all the old companions and all the old doctors and stuff. He kind of
brilliant, isn't it?
He sought it out to be involved with all this. He was that much of an ambassador for the show. That's what I loved him for. He even recorded on my podcast. He recorded an intro saying, "It's Peter Capaldi, and you're listening to the Gallifrey Stands podcast." And the way he delivered it was just beautiful.
We we went to the Battle of Shrewsbury reenactment a while ago. Me and Alex. It was great because it's a medieval battle reenactment. There were people walking around in armor. It's very looked like a medieval Renaissance fair in America. And I said, Alex rang me up the morning. We were going. He's like, "What should I dress up as? Can I dress up as a knight, or can I dress up something else? What can I dress as?" And I was like, just dress as you like. This is how Alex came to the fair. Can you share that on screen for us, please? There he is, as the Doctor. And whenever I asked him why on camera or on mic, he'd be like, "Well, because it's historically accurate." So there we go.
It's rather brilliant, and plus, it's the Doctor. He can travel to any time. That's fine.
Exactly. Yes, I thought.
The other thing which I did was for my current podcast / radio show. At the end. There was a friend of mine, Matt Lees, who's on the same station, and he played this bit from, I think it's Mr. Rogers. He plays this little thing at the end of his show each week. And I thought, I want to do something like that, but I wanted to kind of theme be kind of kindness and just happiness and just write that bit on the show. And so I used the clip from Capaldi from the Two Masters episode with Missy and the Master. And there's a bit where he just talks about kindness. Just in the end, just be kind. Why not just be kind? And that's how I close the show every week. It's just an amazing little speech there.
Nice.
It's beautiful.
What I'm getting from what we're talking about is the passion coming through. Now, what kind of stumped Dr. Squee then was I wrote in the private chat to Alex, sort of like, if you got any Doctor Who questions, it'd be really fitting. And as soon as we changed that subject, you could see your face light up. Your face was just like, oh, I get to talk about Doctor Who. And, you know, that was really nice that you opened up about, you know, bullying and how that was a distraction, a good distraction for you. Do you feel like even today with the stresses of life, especially with what's coming up with the finances of the world, do you feel like something like Doctor Who is the perfect distraction to get you through those difficult times?
I mean, for me, I think it's whatever, like fandoms as a whole can be just wonderful. We talked about the toxic side of it. I think Doctor Who is a show which is, mind you, like Star Trek, it's meant to be geared towards positivity. Same with, I mean, Star Wars was more about the adventure of it than necessarily just going towards kindness. It was about it was literally Star Wars, you know, whereas these other shows, I think, have kind of kindness is baked into them in a way. Which is why it's so sad when people do use them to kind of complain and bitch and just say about, oh God, you're being too woke. It was always about that. It was always just about a kind space. Like, I don't like to use the word safe space because I think it's been corrupted to make it sound like, oh no, do you need a safe space? No, it's a nice space to go to. It's somewhere to go to where it's just a bit more hopeful. And that can be very cheesy, but if it's done right, there's just nothing more powerful than a really hopeful story that, Jesus, maybe we're going to be okay. Maybe it's going to be all right. Like, no matter how much shit we're going through, maybe humanity somehow is going to figure our shit out before we destroy ourselves. Just maybe.
I feel like
I think it's wonderful at these times.
I feel like embracing the inner geek in you is really important. And my example is for years when I was in college and school and stuff, one of my most favorite shows up to a point was Stargate SG-1. I love that show to bits. I thought it was fantastic. Up until a point, like I said, they kind of just went towards the end. But I would be like, oh, Stargate SG, what? I don't know. No, I never heard of it, mate. Because I didn't want to be considered as that kind of nerd. It sounds weird and it sounds like a horrible thing to say, but I got to a point when I was a bit older, and I was kind of like, you know what? Yeah. Yeah, I am, and I enjoy it, and now I enjoy chatting to people about it, and it's really nice. I
mean, there was the thing they used to have where it was called the Wilderness Years for Doctor Who. So it's between the original series and the new series. They'd have like they called it Wilderness Years, where there was no Doctor Who. And it became sort of like a thing of shame to be into sci-fi, to be into Doctor Who and stuff. And so people would just deny it left, right, and centre. And I just took my licks and go, no, I like this shit, I think.
Yeah, it's good to see that.
I was unpopular anyway, so I may as well enjoy it.
Have you got any fandoms that you're not too keen on talking about, Alex? Like, is there something that you enjoy that you like you wouldn't bring up in social circles, but yeah, I'm going to ask you on a live podcast?
No. There isn't, to be honest with you. Every single one of my friends knows exactly what I'm like, and if the the various props around my house and my Doctor Who figure collection that has been going since 2005, amassing various even prototypes that have never been released, never seen the light of day. That tends to give it away rather. So between Stormbreaker hanging on the wall, or Captain America's shield, or Grogu. Sort of just standing over the books, or hell, the various Call of Duty perk bottles from zombies. Oh, that's a little Stormbreaker there.
I've got a Thor's hammer in my car.
Well, between all of those things, yes, there's never been anything that I've not been afraid to say or get involved in. Everybody knows that what I'm like,
I always remember sitting reading
Stormbreaker.
That's huge. Size of that Stormbreaker for the people listening on audio. It's the size of a bookcase.
That was Chris Hemsworth's Stormbreaker from Endgame. The hero prop scene when he summons it next to Captain Marvel's head as a fun fact for you.
Look at Dr. Squee's face. His eyes about to pop out of his head.
How did you get hold of that?
It's touching of the nose, like no. Well, do you know what, Dr. Squee, I got to commend you on doing what you're doing. As someone who has done a 24-hour podcast, it is not easy, folks. It's not easy. You've been yawning your head off even through this bit, and you've got a long way to go. Can you tell people at home all about Shelter and why you're raising money for them?
Well, I'll tell you why I'm raising money for them. Then I'll play. There's a little video which they sent over, so I'll just play that. It's like a minute and a half, which says it better than I could. The reason why I picked it this year was each year I try and either do something which is topical for the moment. So we did the NHS during lockdown and other different charities. Like I did the dog one just because that's close to my heart with the dogs and everything. And actually, lockdown did result in a lot of dogs being rehomed again because people would get dogs at haste and then kind of give them back when they didn't have enough time for them after lockdown. But it seemed at the moment the biggest problem we've got was with this cost of living crisis, and you've got people who that leads to them literally becoming homeless. Something I mentioned earlier. And I want to be very careful how I say this because I've got so much respect for what's happening in Ukraine and how how they've managed to fight back what seems like a bigger force. But the First Lady of Ukraine said that while you're counting the pennies, we're counting the death toll, which is fine. I understand that and appreciate it. But people will die as a result of not being able to heat their house or not being able to feed their family, not being able to afford to live. People commit suicide because they feel the pressure and money troubles. I've been to the point where I only once used a food bank, but I've been to the point where I didn't know, if anything else went wrong, I wouldn't be able to feed my family. And I know how that feels. And I know that literally does destroy people's lives. So that's why I picked it this year. And, it does feel personal because I've been in that situation. I'm so lucky now that I'm, I work for the NHS. I'm on a pretty good band, pretty good level for pay so that I could weather this storm, at least for now. Things get worse. I think we'd all have problems, but I know what it's a bit like to be there. So I'm just going to play this little video from Shelter.
Hi, it's Kate from Shelter. I just wanted to let you know a little bit about our work. We help people who are struggling to keep their homes by giving them legal advice, representing them at court, and also by assisting in more practical ways, like helping them prevent damp and mould or getting repairs done. We also support people who are street homeless, who perhaps have never had a tenancy, by getting them into their own homes and being there and supporting them every step of the way. By connecting with local communities, we're understanding more and more about what housing difficulties people are facing. Our focus is on solutions, and we work with individuals and community groups to improve people's situations and also to help them speak up for better housing. Our national helpline gives advice to people in housing emergency 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Shelter believes that a home is everything, and we're doing all that we can to defend this human right. We're asking for more affordable and safe homes for everyone. Thanks to Dr Squee and for his fundraising efforts and for raising awareness of Shelter and Shelter's work. You can show support by donating at www.justgiving.com/Shelter Squee. Many thanks.
Sorry,
There we have it.
Not my speaker. Hopefully you didn't hear that then. I just knocked everything off my desk. That was fantastic. Really, really thank you so much for playing us that, because what I'm going to say next is anybody that's listened to this that's a fan of the Shrewsbury Biscuit, if you've got a few pennies, please donate to justgiving.com/Shelter Squee. I've really enjoyed today. Thank you for inviting us on.
Thank you very much for coming on, and you guys take care. Always a pleasure to catch up.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Alex, for joining me as well. It's been nice.
No worries. Thank you, Alex, for having
And
me.
by the way, just quickly, Alex, thank you very much for the last minute stepping in on our outrageous lies.
That was fun. I nearly off-railed it a little bit with one joke. I'll tell Alex about it in a second, but yeah.
We'll talk about that later. Sorry, I do have to go to the next show. Thanks, guys. See you later, guys.
Thank you.
See you soon.
That was recorded on the 10th of September live, and me and Alex had a very fun time. I really enjoyed putting that game together. It's one of the things I used to do weekly on You Suck, and I had a template for it, and I lost it because I don't do You Suck anymore. That show doesn't exist, so I deleted it. But so I had to build a new one from fresh. So I usually put 11 films in there. I've put 10 by accident, so otherwise it would have gone on a bit longer. But yeah, it was very, very fun. And I hope you enjoyed that. It's a bit of a random bit of content to include with the Shrewsbury Biscuit, like I said at the beginning there. But it's for a good cause, well-intentioned. And there is an opportunity there just to raise a few more pounds for this great campaign. So if you go to justgiving.com/shelter squee, shelter squee is shelter as it's normally spelled, squee, SQUEE. Thank you again to Dr Squee for inviting us. Alexander Westwood, the man, for coming in last minute and helping us with that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.